Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Life Group News. I'm your host, Travian Weems. And today we start a new series with a new shirt. Not wearing that old suit, but we got a new shirt for a new series with a new question. The new question being, does God keep his promises? Last week and the last whole series, we talked about who's in control. And we learned that God is in control. And this week, we're gonna look at, does God keep his promises through different stories throughout the Old Testament? And today we're focusing on Exodus, where we introduce you to this whole new character who's Moses. You probably have heard of him. If you know the Bible, you probably have heard of him. He's a pretty prominent character. He gets the 10 Commandments, but we're starting at the very beginning, where God calls him as this prolific character in the Old Testament. We see at the very beginning, he's in the struggle. He's an Israelite in the Egyptian kingdom. Israelites and Egyptians, they don't go along very well. And as we see, his mom even had to put him in a basket and float him down the river when he was born to escape tragedy. And later on, we see Moses, he ends up doing some pretty crazy stuff. He ends up killing somebody. Crazy stuff, and he ends up having to flee. And it was shortly after this that God called him through a burning bush on a mountain. Crazy stuff was God able to speak. So as we get ready to check out this video, wait, before we get to the video, hold on. Jeff, I'm getting something here. Can we switch it to camera 2? It looks like we got another Reggie story in progress. Let's go ahead and switch the camera. Jeff, go ahead and switch it. Looks like Reggie is behind stage. He's getting ready. He's just walking, he's chilling. Hello, Reggie. Let's see what happens here. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you ever played drums before. I like me some drums. Reggie, let's see how good you are at the drums. Whoa, these things are loud. I will say, Reggie can play the drums. Well done, Reggie, well done. Oh, he's not done yet, folks. Cymbals, yes, Reggie, those are cymbals. Reggie, have you talked to anybody yet before you grab those? Well, I guess it's too late now to ask. Oh, is he getting ready to play them? Oh, man, that was loud. Woo. Well, Reggie, just go ahead and put them back. No, Reggie, go ahead and put them back. Reggie! Folks, Reggie forgot to ask to take the cymbals. If you see a big red bull walking around the church with a pair of cymbals, please contact local authorities, contact the local pastor. We will get those the cymbals returned as soon as possible. Thank you. But back to the main regularly scheduled program. Check out this video on how God calls Moses through a burning bush.
Joseph's family in Egypt grew even after Joseph, his brothers, and their families died. All the people in this family were known as Israelites because they came from Joseph's father, Jacob, who was also called Israel. When a new Pharaoh came to power in Egypt, he was afraid of the Israelites. Pharaoh worried they would all fight against him. So Pharaoh made the Israelites slaves, and he gave them very hard work to do. Still, their families grew. So Pharaoh ordered for all their baby boys to be killed. Around this time, a woman gave birth to a son. She hid him as long as she could, and then she put him in a basket and set the basket along the bank of the Nile River. Soon, Pharaoh's daughter went to the river to take a bath. She found the baby and felt sorry for him. Pharaoh's daughter wanted the baby to be her son. The princess named the baby Moses. Moses grew up as a prince in Egypt. One day, he saw an Egyptian man mistreating an Israelite man. Moses killed the Egyptian and then fled from Egypt. He worked as a shepherd in another land for many years. Back in Egypt, the Israelite people were miserable. They cried out to God, and God heard them. He had a plan to take them. One day, Moses saw a bush on fire. The bush was not burning up. Suddenly, God called from the bush, "Moses, Moses." Moses replied, "Here I am." God told Moses to take off his sandals because Moses was standing on holy ground. Then God said, I have seen how my people are suffering. I want you to lead them out of Egypt to a good land I have for them. What if they ask for your name? Moses said. What should I tell them? I am who I am, God said. Tell them, I am has sent me to you. What if they don't believe me? Moses asked. So God gave Moses 3 miraculous signs to prove that God had appeared to him. Moses' staff would turn into a snake. His hand would become diseased and then healed. And water from the river would turn into blood. But Moses still made excuses. He said, please send someone else. God was angry, but agreed to send Moses' brother, Aaron, with him. So Moses went to Egypt. God saved Moses' life and called him to rescue God's people from slavery. The calling of Moses points to a greater calling and rescue, the call of Jesus to come to earth to save God's people. Jesus gave up his life to save us from slavery to sin.
What a crazy story. Man, the beginning of Moses' life is one that is just absolutely amazing and wonderful and miraculous. You can see God's provision and God is in control, even at the beginning of Moses' life. And as we see, Moses, he was not the perfect human being before God called him. I mean, for crying out loud, he killed somebody. And he lied. He was a sinner like you and me. And that's the coolest part about the gospel, is that it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, anybody, and I mean anybody, can come to Christ and believe in him. And my prayer for you today is that you do the same. Know that God keeps his promises. We see that God called Moses to lead the people out of Egypt, although it doesn't happen immediately. Foreshadowing, we might see that happen later in the Bible, where God leads his people. But God, as we saw with Abraham, God does keep his promise, because his covenant with Abraham, I'm going to give you so many kids, you'll count the stars, you'll be able to count the stars with them. God kept his promise, even though he only had 2 children right off the bat. He had children, and the children had children, and the children had children, and the children had children, and it became so many, you couldn't count them, and they were as numerous as the stars. God keeps his promises. And just know his promise to you is that he will save you. And then when he looks at you, if you believe in Christ, he no longer sees you, but he sees his son, who paid for your sin. And that's it for Life Group News. I pray that you hear the message, hear the gospel truth. Thank you, and have a good day.